Hey, this is another episode of Real Talk. This is Henry Sanders, CEO. I'm here today with two good friends of mine. Well, I won't have to say this. So, this man right here, many of you know him. His name is Michael Johnson, Boys and Girls Club. I've been trying to get this black man on this show for how long? How long you been back from Cincinnati?
Almost a year. I'm sorry, man.
Almost a year. So let me, now people, you think we're boys, right? We're good friends. People, a year. I took him to get a Real Talk video. What took you so long, man?
I had to focus on Boys and Girls Club, and we had so much stuff going on, and now I got some good stuff to report on. So I needed some time to get my business affairs in order.
I'm gonna talk to Toya about that. I'm sorry. Did that convince you? Didn't convince me. Sorry. It's all good.
I'm glad to be here, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
And this is my good brother here, who's been in the news a little bit. A West Side guy, works at West, a Regent. We won't hold that against him. Us East Side Pearl Golders. It's all day Pearl Golders, all day purple and gold. But we'll address that later too, bro.
I worked at East for like 8 years.
I heard that because a lot of people at East got you a lot of love.
Yeah,
they give you a lot of love for real. So introduce yourself, young man.
Marlon Anderson. That's me.
So as you know, a lot's been going on for the past couple of weeks with stuff. My man here in the news, he's hot right now. You're the man in these streets right now. And then Michael here, who's been doing lots of stuff. So I want to talk to both of you about a lot of things been going on. I want to talk about stuff going on with you in Boys and Girls Club. But I want to start with you, Marlon, because I want to talk about all the stuff going on with you and how this kind of happened, right?
Absolutely.
How this partnership kind of happened. So when all the stuff was going on with you at West, and you must have been stressed about all that stuff. I mean, it happened fast, and you had to be feeling stressed and emotional. I would be, right? How did you guys hook up? How did that happen?
Yeah. So you want to tell the story, or you want me to tell it?
Go ahead.
So the day that Marlon made his post on Facebook about his termination, if you go back and look at his thread, actually in one thread somebody tagged Madison 365, and they tagged me right next to it. That was the very first time I saw it. When I read it, I said, nah, that couldn't have happened. I'm being honest with you. That was my first response. So then I started getting phone calls from Boys and Girls Club members, started inboxing me. So I said, okay, let me research this. I called the school district, talked to a couple of people off the record. I talked to some of our staff, and people was like, Marlon is a stand-up guy. Michael, you should at least reach out to him. I reached out to him that night on Messenger and saw that he didn't see. You know how when you send somebody a note, you can see if they read it. He didn't read it. So the following morning, I called him. And I said, hey, I'm Michael Johnson. He pretty much like, hey, I know who you are. And I said, man, how can I help you? What can I do? And we started talking. And I remember I went through a similar situation like this about a year ago in Cincinnati. And I said, if there's anything I could do to help you, and we pretty much came to the conclusion that he needed a job. I was afforded that same opportunity with American Family when the CEO of that organization had called me and offered me a job when I was going through my transition. So I wanted to make sure that before this brother was going to hit the ground, that we would lift him up and support his family. So we talked. The very first thing he said to me, I offered him a job. He said, let me talk to my wife. Then he called me back.
Like a smart man.
It was a smart move.
It's smart man. Anyone wants to be happily married knows that. That's the first thing. Let me talk to my wife.
And he called me back, and my wife said, this is a no-brainer. So I said, this was on Friday, and I said, when can you start? And they said Monday morning. So we had him to run it. We ran this background check, had him to fill out an application, and that's how it started. And I did it for three primary reasons. One, at the time, if the story was true, I said, man, what a great injustice that just happened. Two, I could personally feel his pain because I went through a similar incident, and having people like you, Henry, Tim Metcalf, and Jack from American Family, that support group, Paul Tonneson, that support group, man, like it was just amazing, and I knew he needed that. And then three, the kids and the staff was vouching for him. And when I heard about the 11 years that he spent in the district and the respect that he had, I thought he would be a great fit for Boys and Girls
So
Club.
it's funny that you're saying this because on Cincinnati, so he went through a lot of struggles in Cincinnati, similar. And the first thing he did say to me was that he remembered how he felt in Cincinnati and how he felt how he needed people to be around him. And that's how he felt with being around you. So how do you feel? I mean, there's good, bad, and ugly in this, right? So the bad is what happened in West. Incident happened. District responded in a way. You get all this press, this media, share call. I mean, you say all this. Your world has changed in a week, man. So how are you feeling?
Man, best word I can come up with is blessed, because it's like all through this ordeal, I haven't had an opportunity to get mad, even though that's kind of like my default emotion. Get mad, get angry. I haven't had that opportunity. I haven't had an opportunity to start really worrying because I posted it. I just kept doing my day, and all of a sudden, people are like, dude, you're going viral. And I'm like, what? And I'm getting all this attention from people are posting, we support you from Turkey, from Sweden, from Italy, from Canada, from all across America, Norway. It was all over the place, Australia. I'm like, I have never been outside of America. But these people are posting all this support for me, and it was like, it's crazy. So I think yesterday was actually the first day where it started to get to me. And I was like, okay, I just need some time for me. And I literally spent the morning just praying. And me and my wife, we prayed together and kind of was just seeking God's like, what's the next step? Mm-hmm. And just praying for our kids, because
your boy goes to West, right?
Both my sons. I got 3 boys, 1 in college and 2 at West.
And I met Noah. That's a good young man. He came out Leadership Summit. He spoke to me. He's
the president of the Black Student Union there as well.
Very impressive.
Yeah, and it just, nobody really thinks about the family, because they got my big head on the news every time you turn it on. But I got 3 sons. I got a wife. I have a family that this is affecting as well. So it's just been a blessing to just be in the presence of a community that has been so supportive. And it's so crazy because when I say community, it expands further than Madison. Yeah. It's like the whole world has been supportive. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to think of the whole world as the community.
And it's interesting too, because I know one of the things that I like about what's happened is this is one of the few times in Madison I've seen the community come together. So I was out front side of the school district and downtown, and there's about 1,000 students there. Yeah. And I know you had a meeting with Pastor Adam and Kaleem. Yeah. So you had all these different people from different backgrounds who were supporting Friday. Then you have this man here who gave you a job. Actually, it was like you had all these people supporting you in the community, which, a lot of times we're divided in Madison. Yeah. Even our folk, black folk, people of color, a lot of times we are divided. You are a rallying cry from unity. I don't know if you knew that. Did you feel that you kind of are that rallying cry of unity where everyone's like kind of rallying around your cause?
I saw that when I looked at the television. I think that was the moment I really cried about it. Like, y'all saw me on TV crying, looking like baby Shrek. That was horrible. But I really cried when I saw those kids, because when you look at the video, you see Latino, black, white,
everyone,
atheist, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, everybody got together on one cause with one focus. And I kind of was part of that focus. And that brought so much emotion to me. I cried, and I just was like, God, why me? I have no understanding why God would pick me to go through this, but in His wisdom, all I can see happening is just some type of unity, us coming together and continuing the unity. yeah, 2 weeks people have forgot about who I am, but let's not forget about what brought us here. And the word that stirs up so much hurt and anger and animosity. Let's continue to fight to educate and take this word out of our vocabulary.
So I want to come back and ask you some stuff too about MJ. So you and I, we've seen people in the community struggle. Have you seen people rally around something like this, where communities kind of rally around a cause like they have with him since you've been here?
Not to this degree, right? So the fact that you had, to Marlon's point, he had teachers out there, he had security officers out there, he had elected officials out there, and then people from outside of Wisconsin, from all over the United States and across the globe, pretty much advocating for him. I've never seen anything like that. I also appreciate how Marlon has responded to this issue. A lot of times when you're African American male, people are quick to paint you as being angry, and he's handled this with so much grace and humility. And Marlon is a very, very spiritual man. And so I've really gotten to know him and his family over the last couple of days. And I think sometimes God put things in our place and already know what's going to happen. And I think this was all part of his plan. And Marlon happens to be a part of that. And I think this could be a teachable moment, not only for kids, but for teachers, principals, and even the superintendent and the school board. I also really appreciate how the school board responded so quickly. And while we wanted to support Marlon, we also tried to provide counsel to both the superintendent and the school board president. So I personally spent time on the phone with both of them over the weekend, just trying to help support them as they were looking to make a decision. And ultimately, I believe they made the right decision.
When all this happened, because you talk about emotions, and you're right, like they used to try to say it's an angry black man. I haven't read anything that seemed angry, but you had to be angry. So walk me through the emotions. So when this happened, when you found out that you were let go, did they call you and let you go, or how did you know that you were let go?
They basically said I'm on leave until a meeting Monday morning. So I was kind of like, dude, I literally told the student not to call me this word. So I was kind of like, I'm good. It's like, there's no way I'm going to get fired for telling the student not to call me a derogatory term. And Monday morning I got up, got ready. My wife was like, you need some support up in there, Marlon. And I was like, okay. She said, I already called Colleen. He good. And I was like, you could ask me first. But when she did that, I called Adam, and I was like,
Pastor Adam at
Life Center. And I was like, are you available? And he made room. He made time. And my wife came as a representative of Nehemiah as well. And they all asked the right questions. Me, I probably would have just sat there and took it and just been like, all right. And then got upset. And then I would have went through my anger. But they asked the right questions, kind of made the meeting go longer, and made it opened up the door for them to actually consider more options. And I think it was that Wednesday or Thursday after the meeting, I got they contacted the union and said that the union called me and told me they're going to go forward with the termination. And at that point, I skipped this one part. Before I went into the meeting Monday, I said a prayer. And I asked God to be there. I was like, God, you got to hook a brother up, because I don't know what's finna go on. And his answer was, I got you.
Right.
And I felt peace after that. And I went on, sat down, and I've had that peace ever since. And then when they said I was terminated, I was like, all right. And told my wife, and she got mad. And I was like, baby, God said he got me. So he gonna do something. Mm-hmm. And then I just picked up my phone. I thought about it for about 15 minutes. I was like, I ain't finna do that. And then I said, you know what, skip it. Put the post out there, press post, and within 24 hours, I'm viral. So through it all, I never had an opportunity to get mad. I still haven't gotten mad. I got a little concerned yesterday because I started feeling overwhelmed, and I said, okay, God, I'm getting distracted because now I'm sinking in the water. You know, walk like Peter walked on the water while he was focused on the Lord. He was walking on water. But when he focused on the storm, that's when he started to basically get sucked under by the storm. And I was like, storm getting me right now. So let me turn my eyes back to the Lord pretty much. And that's what yesterday was. I woke up this morning, I was feeling myself again, feeling good. And so I still haven't had the opportunity to get mad.
That's a blessing. So has the school district apologized?
No, sir.
No, you haven't heard. Okay.
No, sir. That's something that a lot of people have. I never thought about that, but it is fair. And you know, I saw Cher. She actually had said something to that effect, that they need to apologize. And I was like, I literally never thought about that. I was just, you know, I kind of want to get back to work, get back to helping the kids. But there are things that need to be done in all fairness, because if not, it's just going to continue to happen.
So let's talk about Cher, right? So when I heard about Cher, my first instinct I'm like Cher, like long hair Cher, like that Cher, you know, like it was like the Cher, and it was Cher, right? It was Cher. Have you talked to her?
I have.
Wow.
19 minutes and 23 seconds. I literally looked at my phone. I was on the phone with Cher for 19 minutes and 23 seconds. And you know it was her because she has that voice. And as soon as she was like, hi, is this Mr. I was like, yeah. Cher, how are you? And I'm shaking. I'm looking at my hand like, stop. Nope. Yeah. And it was overwhelming. I was like, wow. And she just was so down to earth. And she shared things, man. She talked to me. She said something was so interesting. She said she'd been in show business pretty much her whole life. And she was like, we didn't see black and white. She was like, we just saw talent. If you were talented, that's what we saw. And she said, I performed with, you know, 100,000 probably of people. And she was like, I just saw their talent. I didn't really, in Hollywood, we don't see color. We just see talent. And I thought to myself, I said, that's a beautiful world to live in. But in our reality, everyday people, we have to deal with the fact that people are looking at us and judging us literally by the color of our skin and not the content of our character. And that's a mess. That's some stuff that needs to be addressed and dealt with.
So Cher calls you. You talk to Cher. You know, you show the groupie love. You're like, oh, Cher. Right.
I was trying to be cool, but I don't know if I pulled it off.
I mean, I'll give you. I mean, Cher's an icon. I mean, she's an icon within the music industry. I mean, people who are famous are probably in awe of her.
Pretty much.
You know, she's like the Madonna. I know her and Madonna don't get along, but you know, she's up there. So if you watch this shit, I didn't mean to do that. You know, I mean, I get it. I'm with you. So do you guys talk about what like next steps? Like what's that mean for you and Cher? I mean, because I'm thinking that Cher's calling you and she's involved. Yeah. I mean, she can help you deal with these issues on a higher platform. Yeah. Like you know, she can help you change the narrative. She can get you invest. Like if Cher can help you really bring some light to some of this stuff.
Yeah. She actually talked about things like that. Like, maybe I need to come to Madison and get some of these laws, help get some of these laws overturned. And I was like, for real? I'm like, so she just the whole idea and the racist, the things that are going on. She just was like, I can't believe that this still happens in this country. And that was kind of her mindset. She was like, why do people still have to deal with this? And I just was amazed at just her heart, because yeah, she's a legend, but this lady was just talking to me. She was getting mad at the stuff that we get mad at. You know, she was like, this needs to change. And I'm like, wow, this lady, you a legend, and you still down to earth.
She kept her word, right? So she made that tweet. And sometimes some celebrities, they'll
and her tweet was that she'd cover illegal services.
Yeah. So she came, she actually called the Boys and Girls Club and was looking for Marlon. So it wasn't like this facade of, I'm just going to publicly support him. She went after him, offered her support, and I don't want to tell his business, but she pretty much was like, whatever you need, I'm going to be there for you in the long haul. I mean, she was calling right when we were walking in here. And I was like, that's pretty amazing.
Wow. Well, just tell Cher I said hello.
I will.
I share. So, West, you going back to West?
Yes.
Okay. And when you go back and start?
I don't know. It's still, I guess, politics. It's something that they gotta go through a process that I have to go through. And once I go through that process, I will be back at West, as far as I know.
Okay.
So.
And when you're at West, are you worried about retaliation or anything? Are you worried about concerns about people might be mad or the principal or anyone be mad at you over there? Are you concerned about any of that stuff?
No. I literally, the Lord had my back through this entire thing. And I'm at a point where I'm not really afraid of what people can do. They can't do anything that he doesn't allow. Mm-hmm. And they fired me, but he didn't allow it. So they rescinded the termination. They fixed it. They was like, you never got fired. Technically, that's it. On your record, there's no termination. So it's like everything that they did, God undid it. And he made it like it never happened. Yeah. You know, it's that whole fiery furnace thing with the Hebrew boys. One thing God showed me about that and me is I'm the type of person that I want to be delivered before the fiery furnace. I don't want to be in the fire. Hook me up before the fire. Don't throw me in the lion's den. I'll just stand down and look down, and the king will be like, nah, bro, you good. And I'll be like, all right, peace. I would prefer not to be in the den, and I would prefer not to be in the fire. But that's the only place where the miracle actually can take place.
I'm sure the people in the fire don't want to be in the fire either. Daniel don't want to be in the fire. But so MJ, now what happened? So he's a Boys and Girls Club. He's employed at the Boys and Girls Club. Part-time?
40 hours a week.
Full-time.
Yeah, full-time.
Full-time employee. He goes back and works for a school district. What's the plan then? Did you just have a transition plan? You think they'll transition him out, or what? What do you?
So that was always our plan. Before I answer that, there is one thing that stuck out with me, Henry. There was a young man that somebody screenshotted and sent me his a post that he made. He said, one of the things I love about Marlon Anderson is his authenticity. And he said, Marlon learned, this is a Hmong student, Marlon learned Hmong so he can communicate with us in the hallways. I was like, wow.
Is that true?
Yeah. Well, I learned a couple of sentences like hello and where are you going and goodbye.
but what's powerful about that, it was important enough for him to adjust and to learn, and not only learn their language, but to learn about their culture. And the student appreciated that, and that's why he went out and marched. So to answer your question around transition plan, when we sat down, I told Marlon, whether this is you being at Boys and Girls Club for a day or for a year, we got your back. Mm-hmm. And we got a big agenda ahead of us. We were fortunate that we had a position that he could slide right into. And I was like, if you choose to stay, we'd love to have you. But if you decide to go back to the district, we would support you 110%. What I heard from the superintendent, and she actually followed our recommendation, I actually think it's a good thing to wait about 30 to 45 days. It gives us some time for things to calm down. It gives him time to work behind the scenes with the union and the school district around how to transition him back into the district. And our biggest concern from when me and him talked was, how do we make sure that his family, he's still getting a paycheck, he still got his health benefits, so his family is not impacted, by this. I think if he would have went right back in there on Monday, you'd have had the media trying to get to him, the kids wanting to see him. I think it would have been a disruptive environment. Mm-hmm. But I think if you wait a couple of weeks, go through whatever their process is, then bring him in 30 days, I think that is the best decision. And I think they made the right call on that.
You mentioned the they took in your recommendations. What made you do that? Because that's not your job, the Boys and Girls Club, to advise the city or the school board or superintendent. That's not your job, right? That's not so. When people always say, "What you doing all this stuff outside the mission?" Why did you do that? What was the point?
So I think that's a perception. So it actually aligns well with our mission. So part of our mission is to advocate for kids, and advocating for kids also means changing policies. So when me and Brandy Grayson, we wrote this open letter to the superintendent, I gave her a heads up it was coming. I said, we're asking for 3 things. 1, that you reinstate Marlon. 2, that you put together a diverse group of students, educators, and community leaders, similar to what we did at UW Madison when the news incident happened. We brought Barry Alvarez together. We put together a group, and within a week, we had lawyers at the table. We drafted a policy that's now at every door in every stadium at their events. I think the school district got to do the same thing, and we recommended that. The third thing that we ask is that anytime an employee is accused of something like this, they deserve their due process. They terminated Marlon immediately, and there was other cases in the district where people went on paid administrative leave. And I told Jen, I said, you all did not afford him that opportunity. So moving forward, there should be a diverse group of people from HR that's looking at these issues and looking at context, looking at it from a multicultural lens before you decide to sever ties with someone. And I felt like they listened. That next day, I called Gloria Reyes, and I'll be honest with you, I was shocked. She pretty much was like, Mike, let me hear some of your thoughts and your ideas. And she pretty much told me on Saturday, she said, I'm working up the votes. I want Marlon back in our schools. And I was like, way to go, Gloria. And I know that she was, there was some opposition against that. But at the end of the day, the full school board supported her decision, and I know there was people internally that was supporting the decision to bring him back, and ultimately the superintendent made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, I respect him because all those lawyers had to say don't do it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the attorneys had to be like, don't bring him back. We're opening ourselves up to a lot of different things. Marlon, all I know, I hear all these kids who love you. I mean, even people. I mean, just people around you just love you. What would you tell people, teachers, administrators, who are trying to connect to kids in our schools, and they're not doing a good job at it? And we have a lot of good teachers who do a lot of good work, but we do miserably when it comes to especially kids of color. We just don't do well. What are you doing? What's in your secret sauce that you can actually teach? Because I really think part of this is you should teach teachers and social workers and people in the schools what you do and what you're doing that makes kids want to embrace and support you like they did. What is it that you're doing that's different from everyone else?
That's a good question. All I know that I do every morning is I wake up and go to work, and I have a mindset that I can affect someone's life. And I just try to, but by going into school knowing that I can make an impact, I just try to love the kids. Kids just come up to me with problems about what happened at home, or I see a kid crying, I'll go sit down by him and be like, you want to talk about it? And a lot of times they won't. But I'll just say, if you are ready and when you are ready to talk, you can holler at me. Yeah. And I'll say, so I'll leave you now, but know that I'm here. Mm. And I just avail myself, and literally I just show love. I guess, not to be preachy, but one of my favorite scriptures when Jesus said, I leave you this commandment, that you love each other as I have loved you. And that's it. It's just I love kids. And I show them that I love them, and I try to express that in so many ways. I'm a silly guy, so I do impersonations. I do Scooby-Doo. Kids be like,
Scooby-Doo.
You sound just like Scooby-Doo.
You can sing and rap.
I can do all that. Yeah, kids are doing a cipher or something. I just come up and be like, y'all can't rap. They be like, no, you can't rap. Then I spit something. They be like, oh my God, you can. I'll be like, yeah, it's all good. So I got a lot of talents, and I try to use all the things that God gave me to express love, and it works.
And Henry, I'll tell you, not once have I heard this man want to capitalize off the situation. I asked him, I said, what do you want to get out of this? He said, Mike, I just want to go back to work. I want to be with the kids. There's people that's going to always, when a situation come up like this, you know you can sue. You know you can get money. And all I heard him say, I want to be back at West. I want to be with my kids. And to me, that's so real and so authentic that that's what makes him special. This dude is the real dude, and he really care about these kids, and he love them. And that's why I think you saw 1,500 kids walk out there, because they knew where his heart was at.
That's great to hear, man. I really think you should teach other teachers how to connect, because that's abnormal. What happened is not normal. How the students reacted.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there, like you said. It was a coalition of kids, white, black, everything. And I actually told my team was there. I'm like, this is America. I'm like, this is what the future of our country looks like. I said, it's not what. I'm like, this is the future. And they were there supporting you. You should teach. You should teach teachers and teach people how to connect, because whatever you're doing, we need other people to do it, especially here in Madison, because there's such a disconnect, especially with kids of color. Yeah. You have something that's special that you should teach. I mean, Michael, you think you can rap, but you can't rap, right? So
I got some bars.
Right, so don't see. You see what I'm saying? That's the Chicagoan, right? Everyone from Chicago thinking that, right? So, but we need people like who can use their gifts to connect. Before we go, I want to talk to you one more thing about. So they look for a superintendent.
Yeah.
This ultimately came down. Superintendent had to really make this decision, right? I mean, she had okay. So there could have been a different superintendent who could have said no.
Yeah.
So what do you think we need in the next superintendent, MJ, that is all these complex issues that are going on, because they're really complex. I know people want to make it black and white, and it's not. They're complex. These issues are like, there's layers to this. There's context. Like, there's all this stuff that we're learning, right?
Yeah.
What would you say we need a superintendent that actually can deal with all the issues we have going on in Madison?
So I think the superintendent job is one of the toughest jobs in this region, and I think we need to find somebody who has a superior track record, and if that means we have to pay them superior compensation, I think it's an important job. We need a superintendent that has experience working in an urban school district, has a track record of moving the academic needle, a superintendent that has experience working with all groups of people, from the business community to the faith community to grassroots community leaders. And if that means we have to recruit them from another country, another part of the region, and pay them what they're worth, I think we need to be able to do it. I will also advise the district that even though ultimately the school board makes that decision, they should also have a panel of key community leaders and maybe a parent and a student that will help them select who our next superintendent will be. And if the person is that good, you lock them in. We need a superintendent that's going to be here like Jen Chim for at least 5 years. The average urban school superintendent usually lasts about 3 years. They're usually gone, they're out. Then you spend a year looking. Then it takes a year for them to become acclimated to the community. Now you've lost almost 2 or 3 years of progress, and we need somebody that's going to be here for the long haul. So let's do it the right way. Let's pay and compensate somebody who is talented, and then let's figure out other way to retain them and support them. So at the end of the day, our kids can read, they can write, and they're prepared for a plan after high school. That's what we need.
You go for that position?
Absolutely not. I'm not. I'm an educator, but I'm a nonprofit leader. I wouldn't pretend that I understand the role of being a school superintendent. I've worked in schools for 10 years in both Chicago and Philadelphia. But you need somebody that's been an assistant principal, a principal, worked their way up through the ranks, understand public budgets and policy, but also understand some of the issues that face our kids today, including race relations.
Yeah.
And you need a skilled, politically astute educator that can bring people together to get our business done for our kids, and ultimately is moving the needle, ensuring that all of our kids in the district are achieving and winning.
Got it. That's thank you for that.
No doubt.
Do we know what happened with the kid that you got in the confrontation with? Exactly. I'm thinking about from that kid's perspective. That kid might feel bad, but all this has happened, right? There's one argument with so I'm guessing that kid probably respects you. That you get in this debate with this kid, and this kid all of a sudden you get fired. Has anyone checked on the kid? Know how the kid is doing?
I don't know if anyone has checked on the kid. I did get an email from the brother apologizing, and even in that email, the actual child apologized for the entire thing. He was like, I didn't intend for it to get out of control like that. And he even said that I was one of the only black staff in the school, and I was only staff that kept it real with the kids.
Right.
And that blessed me to hear that. But one of the things that hasn't happened yet is I haven't had an opportunity to have a restorative conversation with him. And I think that needs to happen, because if we're truly there for the kids,
It has to happen.
anything that causes these kids pain or hurt or harm, there needs to be a process of restoration. I don't want him going through wherever he is, if he's no longer at West, if he's still there, whatever the situation is. I don't want him thinking that I hold him, I'm mad or something, or oh, he ain't nothing but old knucklehead. No, I don't think like that. Yeah. I'm very quick to forgive, because I'm not perfect. People who say all these beautiful things about me, but I make a bunch of mistakes. You can ask my wife; she'll tell you in a minute. So I'm not a perfect person.
All of our wives, right? My wife is second. That's my wife getting the right.
Amen.
Yeah, but I literally need to be forgiven. So I'm quick to forgive.
Absolutely.
So
We need to make that happen, because again, I was just sitting here, I'm thinking that poor kid.
yeah.
Because he's still a child. I don't care if he's a child in high school, goes into situations, public. That child has to feel something, that some responsibility for that.
Yeah.
And if that child was even lashing out like it sounds like he was, or I don't know if it's he or she, lashing out, that comes from being hurt somewhere. There's some hurt in that, right? And so just by them lashing out, there's some hurt and pain in that child. And then, like you said, you get fired, that's impact that child too, right? So we need to be reaping around and grabbing my head around that child too, and saying, we still love you too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not the cause of all this other stuff that happened.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think we need to wrap our heads around that. But before we go, Marlon, I want you to tell all these wonderful kids, those 1,000 kids, all the people who supported you, all the people around the world who supported you. We got a lot of people watch this show. Now, hopefully, we got Cher watching the show now, right? So hopefully, we got Cher watching too. All these people, what do you want to say? To say thank you, or what? I mean, what do you want to say to the people?
I just, there's no word. I mean, thank you is what we're used to, but there really isn't a word or a group of words or a sentence or a phrase that I can truly give you that will show you. See, there you go. See, I'm finna get to crying, but that will really show you how blessed you young people, the staff at the school district, the world, everyone, Cher, everyone. You guys really made me feel, y'all made me feel love, man, and I still feel it. I'm still being stopped on the street by brothers, sisters with their hands out and telling me thank you, only because I stood up, because I didn't want to be called a word. That has hurt our people for over 400 years. So it's a beautiful thing that you can do the right thing and receive all of this love for it. So I'm hoping that will spread, that everybody can think of something good to do and do it, and then get acknowledged for it. So I thank you, every one of y'all. Thank you so much. I ain't crying no.
Good, man. Thank you for the community for stepping up. This makes me proud to be a Madisonian. Everyone came out and showed love. Hey, and thank you, because you get a lot of criticism for a lot of things. You get a lot of love, but it's one thing to support someone, it's another thing to put money behind supporting someone, which you didn't have to do.
No doubt. No doubt.
You did not have to do that. A black man who had the means to help another black man, and you did it.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
Not meetings, actually putting money in this man's pocket so his family could eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did it. You didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's
no
nothing but
doubt.
love.
No
That's
doubt.
just
No
being
doubt.
proud to know you.
No doubt.
And my man,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna come see you preach this Sunday.
All right.
All right.
We in there.
Real talk. Thank you again. We'll see you next time, Madison.